Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you are doing well. A bit of a pullback in the markets today after Trump started talking about tariffs again, but not anything too dramatic. The Russell was down 0.71%, Dow Jones down 0.32%, S&P was flat, Nasdaq was flat. We did see MicroStrategy pull back 6%. Tesla remains probably the most resilient company out there, the most resilient stock out there when considering everything that it's had to deal with in terms of headlines and beefs that the CEO has with very powerful people and um, the tweets that he makes. The stock itself is performing quite well ahead of earnings that are expected to be not that great. So that's quite impressive, and I think really reflects the level of enthusiasm there is for the stock. But let's call that flat. Nvidia flat as well. Um, let's look. CoreWeave was down 7%. Silver was flat. Gold slightly up. We'll talk about gold. It's sort of relevant to the topic of today. Bitcoin is at 117,000. We started off the day, by the way, super strong, but because Trump woke up and decided to speak, we've pulled back. But I think we'll resume, inshallah, our climb. Doge is on a pretty healthy run. It's now at 23 cents. Pudgy Penguins, Tom Lee actually changed his profile pic to a pudgy penguin. It is at 3 cents per token. All right, so let's talk about what I want to talk about today, which is it possible, could it be that we are witnessing a recovery in lithium prices and therefore a recovery is due for lithium stocks? Let's talk about this. So this is how the market looked today. Look at this one bright spot here. That is Tesla doing quite well. And as I mentioned, Dow closed a bit down today after a report says Trump is seeking at least 15% tariff on EU imports. Expect a lot of volatility. So could we get another lithium rally? We all remember the 2021 rally and 2020 rally and how they lifted lithium stocks. Could we get something similar this time around? Well, we do have a pretty big catalyst that was announced yesterday. US set to impose 93.5% tariff on battery material from China, one of those battery materials being lithium, and China being the biggest producer of lithium in the world and was really causing supply to outpace demand. And therefore, if a healthy tariff is tacked on to lithium imports from China, lithium-based companies in the United States could really be positioned to benefit immensely from that. And then when it rains, it pours. In a good way and in a bad way. This time around, in a good way for lithium, Chinese miner had to halt Zhang had to halt lithium production at subsidiary after government order. Apparently, not all of its papers were in order, I guess, and they were told to stop mining. And that is good for decreasing supply. Lithium prices have been recovering. If you look, even really since June, they bottomed out and they've been recovering even before the announcement of the tariffs on the battery materials. They've been recovering in quite a healthy rate. They're still nowhere near what they were just 1 year ago, which is nowhere near what they were 3 years ago. But we're headed in the right direction. That is definitely good to see. If you look at something like Piedmont Lithium, that is up close to 30% in the last month. And if you're looking at lithium stocks yesterday, they were pumping in a big way. Again, today we got the macro or rather, I would say just headlines not working in our favor. But lithium stocks uh, seem to be starting a run here. It's still unclear how much oversupply there is. I read about some shipments of lithium sitting at the docks that you know represent oversupply that are going to take a while to get through. But things are headed in the right direction for sure. And if you look at gold versus lithium, this is an interesting chart. So if you look at gold versus lithium, whether it's um, gold versus lithium carbonate or a gold versus a lithium producer's basket, that's what's in the Fushi color. Uh, it does appear to be approaching local highs, if you will. So gold has appreciated relative to lithium to an extent that resembles previous local highs, which suggests that perhaps a faster appreciation in lithium may be ahead if this were to revert to the mean. Obviously, there's no guarantee that it does revert to the mean, but it is interesting to look at. I'll leave it at that. I won't give it more weight than it needs. And so I think that lithium, for people who are waiting on lithium to move, I think that the the period that we waited is a lot longer than the period that is remaining for us to wait. And when I get more clarity about supply, I mean, a lot of these miners are really, really attractively valued, and so it's hard for me. Um, but at the same time, uh, there's still, if you read industry reports, there's still some supply inventory that we need to go through in order for prices to really recover in a strong way. Now, anticipation of price recovery may be all that we need, but if we're looking for actual price recovery, we need to get through the over supply that's on the market right now. How quickly we get through it, I think we'll have more clarity in the weeks and months ahead. But if that's a place that interests you in terms of investing, I think there's a lot of good deals on the market right now in terms of companies operating in the space. Valuations have been depressed even after the recovery. Valuations still remain depressed, but it would require some patience. And but eventually, I think that the transition to electric vehicles, robotaxis, being everywhere, they're going to require a lot of batteries. And those batteries are getting bigger and bigger in terms of size and in terms of the materials that are required. That amount is becoming larger and larger. And so eventually, production needs to increase for lithium, and it cannot increase still at these prices. So prices need to go up further in order for new projects to be developed and new investments to be made. And so that leads me to believe that prices will go up. And as I mentioned, I think uh, what we've waited is a lot longer than what is remaining for us to wait in order to get a full recovery here. It's not going to be as strong, I think, as 2020, 2021, but it'll be strong. I think there's some healthy profits to be made there. That being said, if you enjoy these lives, do leave a like. Join PIF if you haven't become a member yet. Salam alaikum, Dr. Khalid. Jum'ah Mubarak. Salam alaikum, Hussam. Is a pullback on Tesla expected ahead of their earnings report, or is it priced in already? Well, it does seem like people are pretty excited about what's going to come out of earnings. And I also think that there's a lot of following the Robotaxi rollout by sophisticated investors. And even though it may not be making headlines, really no news is excellent news with regards to this experiment. That means things are going well. And I think it won't be long before they increase the area of the experiment once more. And then it's gonna, it's gonna continue to accelerate and follow that S curve that investors love to see with these new technologies. And so we're going to see a rapid ramp up. There's going to be a lot of catalysts ahead, I think, inshallah. Um, Not only with the ramp ups, we'll get the new lower model vehicle, we'll get humanoid robots reaching new milestones. We're already hearing about the growth of the energy storage business, which is the most profitable business that Tesla has. And we'll get more color on that in the earnings report. So there is a lot to be bullish on with regards to Tesla. I think, conservatively, we're in the 500s by the end of this year. Conservatively, we may be more than that. So, we're early 300s. So that's not quite a doubling, but near a doubling. We only have like 5-6 months. That not investment advice, not financial advice, but that's how I see things shaping up for the rest of this year, inshallah. Hey, Salamat Yasin from Turkey. I hope you're doing well. Juma Mubarak to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Leave a like, as I mentioned. Thank you all for the likes. I saw the uptick in likes. Really appreciate that. Make sure to enjoy your weekend. Spend time with family. Enjoy the sun as much as possible. And until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.